They've been eagerly waiting. You're entertaining with the comments. Facebook Frank always has to be the first one there. I think they're having a competition with Liban Youssef for the first comments. But
Nice.
Stevie P, whenever you're ready, you give me the go.
Let's go.
Away we go, gentlemen and ladies.
You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Che sì, che sì, che sì, ed è gol, ed è gol.
Teo Hernandez al volo! Teo Hernandez, ancora lui, una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic, fuori classe assoluto.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, episode 220 to be exact, here where we talk everything Milan, where we can't catch a break, Milan, and let's revise all these rules and regulations, Milan, and where we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
We're glad, Vince, that the intro makes you happy every single time. Welcome, everybody. It is, episode 220 coming off a hell of a week for Milan Weekly Podcast, Milan Club Montreal. Let me just start off by, you see, my lighting is turning off and on. President is going to lose his mind. Hold on. 'Cause I'll tell you, Steve, I spoke to him this afternoon, and I'll tell you all about it after, during, or more of our housekeeping. But first, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody yesterday, Toint Food Drive. I know this year was, a bit of a last minute kind of thing. Still managed to pull, multiple trucks. People showed up in hundreds, and we had so many goodies. And even the Welcome All mission had all their staff there. What a great, I had to take off at 2 o'clock for the game, but I just wanted to take the time to once again to say thank you from our GoFundMe, reaching almost $1,800 with the cash donations. I got cash from my boss, and she felt so bad. She's like, "Oh my god, I completely forgot." Joe Teresi called me in a panic. Oh my god, I just saw it now on Facebook. Signora Joe, don't worry about it. So to my cousin Johnny, to my friend Josie, to beloved friend Gio, California Gio, the Magris, Mark Stroop, another Patreon member, Ralib, my mom, Derek, Carlo, thank you, Abraham, Jan, Timmy from Toronto, Nathan, you're a superstar. My aunt, Long Island Fabio, my sister, Vinny and Sylvia Giannini, your neighbors, Steve, and the designer, Sunny, coming together for these donations. So, to you guys, honestly, thank you. We couldn't do it without us. So, I know I posted the pictures on the Twitter, the bill. We spent about $5,800 on that Saturday. It was just a great feeling as TVP, and I know it was for unforeseen circumstances where you couldn't help me out on this one here, and it would have felt good because Steve, this year it's like the actual regular volunteers. We actually took a break this year. Like all the employees were there,
Yeah.
so it's been good. But thank you to everybody, honestly, for the for the GoFundMe and the Toy and Food Draft.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's an amazing thing that Dave and the guys all put together at Southside there, Milan Weekly Podcast, Milan Club Montreal. We're happy to be a part of it. Bigger and better things coming next year for sure. Hopefully, without this stupid pandemic and going on, and we can actually get back to what's important and giving back to the less fortunate.
Exactly. Speaking of Hello Week, Stevie P, I kind of caught you there on the Twitch machine with our illustrious Presidente, and he didn't do too bad, Presidente. He cracked a couple of smiles. But guys, if you go take a look at the Milan Twitch channel, it is on replay. Stevie P, how was that experience?
Yeah, that was really cool there. Thank you to Cindy and Patrick for letting us on. I want to give a special shout out to Rob. I call him Rob Rock Nation. He came together and with the Presidente and all their hard work to get us on, and it was important for us to be on both Milan Weekly Podcast and Milan Club Montreal, just to let Milan know that we exist across the pond, and talk some calcio and talk about us, what we do with the club and what we do with the podcast. So thank you to everybody. It was really fun. I'd love to do it again.
Please explain how you got Presidente left with his mouth open, Steve. He was speechless. He was without speech. What did you concoct over there for the people that didn't go all the way to the end of the video?
That's Omerta. You have to listen to the Twitch, and it will go down with me forever. No one will ever know how that happened.
And guys, he's not even telling me. He just said go to the end, and Enigma T90 is actually saying what happened on that one there. And yes, I love this pronunciation, but great feeling, and very proud of seeing you guys over there. And Presidente wasn't that monotone, Steve. It's
I
not bad.
coached them up. I coached them up before.
He's broad shoulders, he had that little, like tight fitted stuff. But speaking of Presidente, Steve, I called him this afternoon to discuss some stuff, but I get mentally prepared. Let me make sure, that I've got at least 15, 20 minutes for a 2-minute question. So Presidente tells me that he likes to work us hard, the Milan Club members, but he wants to, give us gifts. He wants to be bearing gifts. So he went into the bag of goodies and he found 3 Milan calendars, official calendars for this year. So he says he was using the randomizer, but you and I both know that he put everybody's name on a piece of paper and he scrunched it up. So, Steve, to the 3 Milan Club Montreal members that won, this random because President just likes to give us gifts. Antonino Grigano, my cousin Johnny, and Sami Mohamed, you guys all won a calendar. And Steve, would you like to tell my cousin?
So Johnny, your calendar is going to Vince. We're taking it as Kiki.
That's it. We're just gonna take it. We're just gonna take off the top there. So we will get in contact with you guys, and the Presidente could go to Little Italy, Montreal, Evangelista locations, anywhere there. But get in contact, or Presidente will get in contact with you. But on that note, Steve, any other housekeeping stuff?
No, just in case there. I don't know if we're gonna do another one before the new year. So I want to thank all the groups that we paste and post the Milan Weekly Podcast 2 on Facebook. There are too many to name. We're gonna have Sunny create the graphic with all the groups that we paste the podcast on, so we can have everybody connected and try to go look at those groups. They have some great content. The other thing too is thank you to our friends at Milan Post. Guys, it's a great account. It gives us a ton of material. The posts are very interactive. They repost Milan Weekly Podcast. They post the videos of the tops and flops. So I want to thank Milan Post for that. I want to thank also we would have to thank someone from Italy. We're gonna have to thank Ale Jacopone. He's a big fan. He does great things on that side of the pond. He's a big fan of Milan Weekly Podcast and helps us however he can. So that's amazing. And thank you to everybody.
Yes, definitely. To Liban, I might do a Patreon special after Wednesday, maybe a post game, because I'm not sure me and Steven will take the Monday off. We'll let you guys know. And Steve, you know what? Presidente gives us orders, but even Sonny gives us orders. And before I forget, guys, you see that little button? No, over there. Over there? Was it over there? Subscribe, like the video. Sonny keeps on reminding me, let everybody know. Subscribe, put the notifications on, like the video, do us a favor. Supposedly it helps.
You don't know how much it helps the algorithm of YouTube just to interact with the account. If comments, you know that we're going to respond. The likes, dislike to like or dislike. It doesn't mean that you're forced to like.
We had our fair share of
dislikes. Have our fair share of dislikes, and that's okay. We're okay with that. But again, if you want to join us live, subscribe, turn on those notifications, smash that like button, and share it. Share the podcast, guys, because content is king.
Content is king. And as we get into what people are here to listen to, Steve, as the starting lineup is here, I wanted to basically read you the translations of Pioli's post-game comments, and we'll talk from there. Is that good with you, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, I know his post game comments, and it's annoying.
It's annoying. So
Yeah.
should I read it or not?
Well, I know what he said. It's Montellaism again, which is pretty scary, but you can read it.
Well, okay. So he said Stefano Pioli stood up for Milan's performance after a home defeat to Napoli, insisting it was one of our best in terms of aggression, intensity, and focus, but cannot understand why Frank Kessie's goal was disallowed. Milan has amassed only 7 points in the last 6 Serie A games and are now 4 points off top spot. He says, I think we proved tonight that we are not tired, that we can play with more quality, certainly, but in terms of aggressions, physicality, and determination, I saw this as one of our best performances of the season, the coach told DZN. We won back the ball repeatedly. I like the intensity and hunger of the team. We made a few misplaced passes, lost the ball cheaply too, but I did not see a fitness issue. Look, it would be easier for me to say that we used to a lot of energy in the campaign and had so many injuries, so we are tired, but I absolutely don't believe that. I think it's one of our best performances in terms of aggression, focus. We defended almost entirely in the Napoli half. We played hard and absolutely did not deserve to lose this game. The regret is that the early goal we conceded, as we should have done better on that positioning, but the rest of the performance was very good. We used a lot of energy like that on teams in Europe, but I did not see a team that was tired physically or mentally. We ran very few risks against a side that is very strong. You need the individual moments of quality in the final third, and we didn't have that tonight. Other than a few misses, Macias went one-on-one with their defenders. Inevitably, the controversy was around the Kessie goal and stoppage that was disallowed using VAR for Giroud offside position that was considered to be active, even though he was lying on the ground under a Napoli defender. I know they will say the rules were applied, but how can a player who is lying on the floor possibly damage the opponent? There's no way he is obstructing Juan Jesus. Giroud's legs are wide. He's trying everything to get out of the way. Milan began to cause real problems for Napoli defense after Giroud came on to leave Zlatan a little less isolated up front. Giroud was not ready to play 90 minutes. He's off for 3 weeks and had only a couple of training sessions. I made the changes when I considered the opportune moment. I think we played well before that too. You just can't aim long balls over the top, as otherwise you become too predictable. We did pass the ball around and get it down the flanks. The changes gave us energy in different positions, but the team did almost everything right. We just lacked a little bit of quality in the final third. So a bit of everything in this in these comments, Steve. Saying that for him was a good performance. I will have to disagree with him if he's going to compare only the last 4 games. Yeah, maybe, but I didn't find, and we're going to talk about this, right? Controversies aside, I did not find that Milan dominated this game. Neither did Napoli, no, by any means. I just don't see what he saw. Then again, I'm not a coach. What were your takes on going from starting lineup to his comments?
So starting lineup, look again. I don't want to hear the injury thing. It can't be an excuse. I jumped on a Spaces with Nima, the garden snake, and a whole bunch of people yesterday. Adriano Pezzo de Pane from the Calcio guys was there too, and we were talking about it. I get the injuries; it happens. It happens to everybody. But at a certain point, after seeing the starting lineup, you have to turn the blame a bit to management. And I'm going to repeat it again over here. Management last year and this year did not address the positions of concern for this Milan to either create depth or have a solidified starting 11, also known as La Rosa. La Rosa is very important. You will face injuries during the season. It's very rare that a team goes through a season injury free. Add now COVID, which is not injury related. It does not come from Milan labs. It's a pandemic, and anybody could get it. You start to see how thin Milan is in regards to depth. So the starting lineup, that's on us. It's not on Pioli. He's going to start and play who he has available to him. Would I have started Balutore? Probably not.
Who would you have started there instead of
Play
Theo?
Kalulu. Play Kalulu.
At this point, yeah. And did you have a problem with Macias starting? I don't think he could have done better than what he had
No,
there, Steve.
Macias is not da Milan. And then this is, again, I got some heat after the Atletico Madrid. Besides that goal, he's done absolutely nothing. And again, I'm going to quote my friend, my new friend, and add to his video compilation, get me a fucking right wing.
He
I've
did
had
score those
enough.
2 goals against Genoa.
I couldn't give a flying fuck, Vince. I couldn't give a flying fuck. The comments from Pioli were terrible, and I've been a huge fan of Pioli. Huge fan of Pioli, where he comes out of the game and he says, "You know what? We suck today." And I would have rather he came out and he said after the Napoli game, because injuries aside, guys, Milan Twitter, hold yourself for this, but we sucked.
Yeah, I don't get where everybody's saying we got robbed. I don't think we got robbed. We'll
There's
talk
no.
about it.
Well, that's a separate instance. That's a
Okay.
separate.
We didn't play good, Steve.
The game. No. We didn't play good. We sucked.
And Napoli sucked too.
Was
That's what hurts
that was
the
most. the worst soccer game that I have seen all season. The worst. Napoli wasn't great. All the Napolitans, they're all happy. Oh, margarita pizza. You guys sucked just as much. And we fucking lost to a Napoli that had a center back pairing of Juan Jesus and Rachmani. Twitter yesterday was Rachmani was the next was the reincarnation or the next Beckenbauer, the next Franco Baresi. He had a good game, guys, but we didn't do anything. We saw in the comments, I forgot here, someone in the comments put it in, we saw a team lob continuous balls. Balls into the box to go get Ibra, who, let's face it, guys, I'm an Ibra fan, love him, but he was not interested in this game. I saw a team who was not interested. And this is scary, guys, because I'm a big believer of weather the storm. Yesterday they did not show up.
And let's be honest, Steve, if Giroud was 100%, or if we had a third quality striker, Ibra's not starting this game. Am I wrong in assuming that?
You're totally wrong. Ibra starts this game.
Okay, he gets subbed out at halftime because
No.
not even he starts all the time.
Because Milan has made it a precedent. Has made it a precedent that if he's healthy, he starts.
Okay, but
that's on Milan though. I don't have a problem with that because I think his pedigree gives him. I know you're not supposed to do this, but gives him that respect where he should start because he saves you He saves you a point against Udine.
He does, and he's the only game changer,
Milan,
right?
And Milan Twitter made it seem like as if he had a fantastic game. Let's news bulletin, guys. He was not good against Udine either. So unless they sit with him and we remove the ego out of it, and we talk not to Zlatan the persona, but Zlatan the player, the human, and explain to him that, hey, you need to rest and we need to start other people and we need to sub you out earlier to avoid injury, this is going to be a constant problem. There's no reason. There's no. How do I say this without insulting anybody? If it's any other coach with a pedigree, a la Klopp, a la Guardiola, who's done it before, a la Mourinho, a la Ancelotti, Ibra comes out in this game. And Ibra doesn't say anything. But because Ibra has made himself bigger than the team, we suffer because we can't make that right change. The right change is Ibra out, Giroud in. And don't change your formation. Because you can't. You don't have the players to do it.
And, I'm looking at, here's where I'm a bit confused, is that we've seen Pioli talk after game, Steve, and he's always been straight up honest. Why would he? I don't know why he would say these kind of things. Again, I'm not a coach. He saw things that maybe I did not see, but it's not like it's not the Udinese game. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't, but this one, I didn't feel like we were bombarding them. Shots on target. We have 2 each. Like I don't see where everybody's thinking like, oh my God, we didn't get robbed, guys. We'll talk about these.
Everybody has to stop with the stats, guys. The stats they tell a part of a story. For me, the 90 minutes is a story. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. Stats are kind of like the table of contents. You're going to be able to see what you're looking at in terms of this book or this story that you're about to read. But you got to read the story and you got to watch the story before you could come out with a conclusion. I'm fed up with the shots on target, the shots not on target, possession. I'm not a stats guy. I don't believe in a lot of the stats of it. But yesterday, just the body language, which you cannot tell. There's no stats for body language. There was no urgency. Someone needed to energize this team and say, hey, guys, you're playing to stay very close to an Inter that's really playing well now. And you're decimated with injuries. And you're playing a Napoli who's just as decimated with injuries as you are and will be tied with you in points after this game. Now, if they don't get that and they don't understand that, that's what frustrates me the most about Pioli's comments after that. Because the body language wasn't there. The play in the final third was terrible, horrendous.
Grinta wasn't there.
There was nothing. There was no. We got outplayed by Napoli's. No, I'm not gonna say reserves because they did
not
have
even
some
outplayed,
starters.
Steve. I don't think we got outplayed. We did not because they were as bad as us.
That's what they wanted to do, though. They were convinced that if they take an early lead, Milan, the book is out. Milan has trouble breaking down when people park the bus.
And we've seen it. We've seen it in the last couple of games.
We could have stayed. We could have played that game. Okay, minus the stupid VAR incident at the end. But if that game, if there's no ties in soccer and Napoli doesn't have the lead, we're playing till the new year and no one's gonna score.
Steve, let me ask you about this whole. I know I've been seeing a lot of comments about the refereeing, about the offside. There was another incident that they said the corner that led up to Napoli's first goal. Forget the bad positioning, but they called it a throw-in for Napoli, what it should have been for Milan. Completely blew it off. And I'm trying to make sense of. I understand rules and regulations, but it just seems. You got these pundits on what would be sports media said, these ex-referees saying, no, I agree. This was an offside. And then you have somebody like stating facts. And I was like, I don't understand how he reversed his call. And what did you make out of all of this? Even looking at the rules, Milan posted a nice thread, like, these are the actual rules and regulations. What is an offside? But
this is, again, this is Serie A, guys. This is Calcio in a nutshell. Disorganized from the beginning. And I'm not mad about losing the game because I really feel that as much as a draw would have been just, because Napoli didn't do much either, I think that they need to pull more positive. They need to pull up their socks more with this defeat. And I think that draw would have been like Udine's draw. It would have just been, oh, you know what? We saved the point. We're still, 3 points behind.
We're still there, yeah.
We're still there. Guys, we're not there. Like, I don't know how much more honest I need to be.
Nobody's arguing with you. It's like, I think you're right where it's like the Udinese game, these are signals and, maybe this one against Napoli.
But it's before that. It's the Fiorentina
No, yeah,
game.
it's since Fiorentina. I would say
game.
seven
and then
points in 6 games.
You have games that, Salernitana and Genoa, those teams, where they are in the standings. And we get all hyped up and everybody goes crazy on Milan Twitter and Messia scored 2 goals. Yeah, Messia scored 2 goals against the Serie B team. That's basically what it is. And we don't address the problems. And I said it here. I said it on Milan Twitch. I hope people one day, maybe when I'm not doing this again, and they give me the credit and they give us the credit for when we say sometimes it has to go on management. And management needs to communicate with the owner and say, we're missing X, Y, Z.
They have no choice now, Steve. There's none of
Well,
last year. We're
they
gonna
have a
write.
choice. They have a choice. Elliot could say, "I'm not spending. I don't want to spend." We're there. We're 4 points behind.
And that putting it that way, but it's what
There's
I
always a
meant it more
choice.
like ain't gonna be like last year. We're gonna ride the wave because look at us now. You can't ride this wave.
For them, they're gonna the famous excuse is, oh, once the injured players come back, that's like our winter mercato. Yeah, that's a possibility.
I know
too.
it's gonna come out. I know it's gonna come out.
That's gonna come out too. So now it's let's have a conversation. I've said it multiple times. I'm grateful to Elliot, Gazidis, everybody who came in. Marcello, I see that he's on there, and it's the accountant in him. Write the books, become sustainable. I saw a whole bunch of fantastic thread on how they want to be sustainable. But unfortunately, the root of that problem is greater than just being self-sustainable. You're in a league that the owners who purchased Newcastle came to Serie A and looked at Inter and looked at Milan. And once they looked at Inter and once they looked at Milan and looked at the Serie A, they packed up their shit, Vinny, and they left.
With reason.
They left. And they said, no way, we're not getting into this fucking shit. And do you blame them? That's scary. If I'm Serie A, I'm scared.
And, I want to bring up one of these Napoli commentators, and he said to him the biggest disgrace out of all this, he goes to have a newspaper like La Gazzetta that is always known as a very respectable newspaper. And what did they put as the headline? Because, VAR più, and catching headlines, clickbaits, and all that stuff. And it's unfortunate because it's, if this would happen to maybe somewhere else in the world, maybe even in the English Premiership, this is making a big fuss. We got to put it up on the newspapers. We got to do this. But in the end, guys, let's be honest. Let's not blame this referee mishap for the loss. I want to be very clear.
We're blaming the league. I'm blaming the league.
I'm saying,
me, guys,
I'm saying, I do not blame the referee.
No. You're blaming the referee.
Like, how does he?
I'm blaming the referee. I'm blaming the league. Because they have to get on the same page. That's not normal, Vince.
I'm trying to figure out what
is you made a call. He said goal. He has to have, without a shadow of a doubt, he has to be convinced that that's not a goal. Don't tell me the rule comes into play. The guy's lying down on his back. He doesn't touch the ball. Juan Jesus touches the ball, a.k.a. Beckenbauer Jr., and we put it in the back of the net. There's goals that go in and count where there's a guy standing next to the right-hand post. He's just standing there. He's completely offside, and it's a goal. So the rule doesn't make sense. The rule needs to be fixed. That's obvious. But VAR as a system needs to be fixed because if there's without a shadow of a doubt that you have to change this call, the call is the call. And that's how they're going to get integrity, and that's how they're going to make sure that VAR works the right way.
But how many times we're going to have this conversation, Steve? Every year.
Yeah, but you have to now. You have to now.
No,
I'm not. He's crying that it's on the Gazzetta dello Sport. Has to put that there because that's a big problem. If they don't put it there, that's another big problem. Because why are you sweeping it under the rug? There's a problem.
Have we seen anything change? What is it, 3 years now, Steve? VAR's been introduced?
But
maybe
if
4.
we don't continue, and I'm going to continue, I don't care. I'll have this conversation every week. I hope I don't. But I have to have this conversation. That is a goal. That is a goal.
That is a goal.
But, and people, I saw tweets of, Milan fans are changing the rule. No, we're not changing the rules. We want the integrity of soccer to remain the same. And the integrity of soccer, without having it under a microscope for the full 90 minutes, is let the ref make a call. If he's not sure, look at VAR. But VAR has to completely change his mind. And I will bet you my left ball that there was not enough information for him to change. And the guy of VAR is telling you, yeah, but the rule is this. The book says this.
The book says that, but
And he
again,
gets scared when he says the book stays this, and that alters his decision making to say, no, it's not a goal.
there was Mario was, and by the way, happy belated birthday to Mario and to Presidente. But Mario was with one of his friends from Napoli, from straight off the boat, Napoli fan, Napoli, and in the end, he just looked at us and he's like, ma com'è fuori gioco quello? Because queste partite si deve finire 1-1. Because perché abbiamo fatto schifo voi e abbiamo fatto schifo noi. And
But
even him,
that's
like even the Napoli fans were
But
like, how does that?
that's someone who's not a troll, who's not someone who sits behind the keyboard and just tries to piss people off. Those are the people that we want to have conversations with.
Yeah.
Those are the people that tune into, and I'm going to be selfish here. Those are the people that tune into Milan Weekly Podcast, because what they're hearing here is straight out facts. I'm not scared, and I don't care who watches or who could watch it after. When Milan sucks, they suck. And Milan, an important game against a Napoli where even if you put the two starting 11 side by side, I am still convinced we are stronger than them. Failed to show up for a very important game, let alone the fucking drama from the VAR. I don't care about that, because this game they needed to come out. And I'm looking at Ibra for leadership. I'm looking at Pioli for leadership. I'm looking at Romagnoli for leadership. I'm looking for everybody. Maldini, Massara, Gazidis. Right this ship fast, or we're going to have some serious problems.
Before we head into the other results of Serie A, Steve, for Milan posts our friends, tops and flops. I know it's going to be hard to pick up a top in there, but flops, I know he's been mentioned a couple of times, but Diaz, he's on a bad streak right now. I found Diaz
He's invisible. I can't even pick him as a flop because he's invisible.
Well, I'm going to go with Diaz. Who do you have as a flop?
Ibra was no good.
Ibra was no good on the flop there, and I don't think you can have a lot of arguments on that.
Yeah, even with Ratmani having a good game and Juan Jesus having a good game, in theory, I'm calling it a good game. We need more from him. We need more in terms of him showing correct body language, showing leadership, knowing when to remove the Ibra character and bring in the Ibra leader. That's what I want to see from Ibra, especially at 40 years old, $7 million a year, and the team not doing well. I'm looking for a leader, not someone who's bitching and complaining or asking for the ball. I hate this new thing where they're always going like this. That's K-Bay, the guy from TikTok. He's always going like this. He makes millions and billions of dollars. And we have Ibra and all the other strikers always going like this, like as if they're looking for something. Yeah, so for me, I didn't think Ibra did what he had to do, especially holding the ball up. Sometimes I saw him even not wanting to engage in the challenges, which is not like Ibra. And I expect, especially in a game like this where, we are depleted, we are missing, there is some people that are not used to these types of big games, he needed to step up. Not even with a goal.
And guys, don't give us the he's 40 years old. No. Ibra, we love you, but when you come out and say that you're a beast and you have the adrenaline, until the adrenaline stops, you're going to keep on playing. You put us up to the standards. So not that we fucking love Ibra, but yes, in this game, a flop. Tops, you have Petzdepan is saying Florenzi. Tomori is coming up. I was definitely going to say Tomori on this one because it was really hard to try to pick. I didn't think Kessie had a bad game, but I'm going to have to go with Tomori on this one. How about you, Steve, for tops?
Yeah, I agree. I think Tomori was the best of the bunch. Looked very, very engaged in the game. I didn't think Romagnoli was bad either. That's not him. That's not on him on the goal. I think that's Tonali's man.
Yeah.
And very simple soccer where we forgot to man the first post. But hey,
that pairing's not doing bad, right? Tomori and the Romagnoli, they're not doing bad.
I don't think that they're doing bad. I just fingers crossed that we're missing someone in terms of depth, because if you take any one of them out and insert Gabbia, we have a problem.
Definitely. All right, Steve. So it is time for Serie A scores. So, Stevie P, let's take it through. I know you like talking about all the other teams which you're able to watch. Taking at Cagliari Udinese.
Cagliari sucks.
Oh my God,
Skip. It's not.
it's not okay. You want to
It's
go on the same
disgusting.
one on the next one? That, by the way,
Oh,
what beautiful football Inter is playing. I had to hear it all from Francis the Snake. Yes, they played very well, but you're playing Salernitana.
yeah, but it's a combination of things, and
Yeah.
at certain points you have to man up, and it's not only
They are
against
playing.
Salernitana, it's against other teams. The football is nice, the football is good, but you see, Milan beats Salernitana 2-0, and Inter beats them 5-0. That's
But
a
they are
huge
playing.
difference.
I gotta
That's a
take my
huge
shots when I
difference.
could, but yeah,
Yeah,
they played fantastic. Do you want to add anything
they
on
just
the?
they just killed that game right away. Salernitana had no hope. Salernitana is again combined with a little bit down in that the graphic that you see with Lazio. Salernitana and Lazio at the beginning of the year had the same owner. That owner is Lotito. So this stupid Serie A league could not even.
You're taking away my indigestion, Steve. But
Oh,
go ahead. No,
sorry. Anyways, could not even enforce their own. Well, let's make it a common indigestion of the week because it doesn't
okay,
make
yeah,
sense.
guys. I don't know if you ever heard Steve. Please explain like this whole
So
Salernitana and
Salernitana and Lazio both owned by Lotito. There's a rule that says you cannot own two teams in the same division.
he sells it to who
Instead, they
before?
sold it to like a hedge fund or a trust in hopes that someone would swoop up and come and buy Salernitana.
what a deal! And
But the Serie A
nobody.
failed where this should have been done before. This should have been done uh, without questions. If you can't even enforce your own rules, or you don't choose
They,
not to.
they voted, right? Serie A presidents voted. Let's not relegate them. But then I know, and thank you to Nima because he kind of had
Yeah,
that thread and explained it. And it's like, well, even if they decide to let them play, they are going to Serie B. I'm sorry, Salernitana fans, you're not making the Serie A cut this year. So we're gonna do all of this to what? For them to go back to Serie B, and what? Lotito's gonna take them. And you see Lotito when they ask him, "Okay, me. I don't know anything. Go ask. It's not my
yeah,
team
of
anymore."
course. So
But
it's always that stupidity of Serie A that those not rigid rules. They're just loosey goosey rules that they decide to do, and no wonder foreign buyers come to Serie A, look at Serie A, and say, "No, I want nothing to do with this league." And that's my indigestion is like things like this, things where you can't handle racism, things where you can't handle your own TV rights, things where you can't handle your own owners in your own league, destroy this fantastic league that's super competitive right now and cannot make it get out of the 1900s. And if someone doesn't change it, guys, again, episode 220, Stevie P said it, in 5 to 10 years, we will not have a Serie
um, looking at all these numbers, I gotta play it. I gotta play it again. Steve, another 5-goal game. What happened to Gasperini in this game here? Losing 4-1 at home to Roma. Even this one, I wasn't able to watch it because we were out
Yeah.
there
So
shopping. But
there's a game
referee,
changer. There's a game changer in this one too. At 2-1 Roma, there's a goal that's disallowed and a little bit of controversy. This one, for some reason, he doesn't go check VAR. And what happens? The soccer gods kick in, and it's shortly after 3-1 Roma. But not only that, I want to we give Roma a really hard time myself. And I have to say that Roma played probably one of their best games of the year, and Mourinho really had his tactics well planned out for this game.
Abraham
He
scored what, one or two? Just one.
he
Tammy, I
scored
mean.
two, but he put Zaniolo up top right next to Abraham, and they looked really good together. And they were missing players too, so I have to give them credit when credit is due. This was a really entertaining game.
And looking at Juventus and Bologna, To me, it's not like I wasn't expecting Juve to lose or anything, but they needed these 3 points. Allegri even I saw today saying in the month of February, January and February, ci giochiamo la stagione. Bologna, Bologna's still up there, but Steve, no surprises here. Juventus did what they needed to do.
If you guys have trouble sleeping, watch this game.
So
Sorry, man.
yeah, so nothing too crazy. Um, Steve, Lazio won a game, scored 3 goals
Against
uh,
Genoa.
against Sport
If
Shevchenko.
we get 11 Patreon members together, we can beat Genoa.
We are 52, but we're gonna see. We'll see whoever's fit to play. But now Genoa, is this their second goal under Shevchenko? I believe.
I think they had
I
another
feel
one in
bad.
Coppa Italia.
Okay, I just feel bad. But
No, there's
yeah,
nothing to
Lazio.
feel bad about, Vinny. This is an organization, Genoa, that's been run like uh, worse off than the local depanneur near our house, and they're suffering from it. And they decide to take on a coach, Shevchenko. Shevchenko's not going to say no to it.
No,
For him, he knows he's not winning the Scudetto with Genoa, so I try to go there and save him and get my feet wet in Serie A, and probably audition for some other coaching job. But Genoa, Shevchenko's getting fired soon, and they're bringing back Ballardini because he's still under contract. I
yeah.
think he's a lifetime contract he has. Whenever they're in trouble, they call him.
Uh,
So because a storied franchise like Genoa is run like a depanneur, this is why they're in 18th, 19th position.
Depanneur, guys, for anybody that doesn't know, it's like a 7-Eleven, your corner convenience store. Steve,
Humud is in the house.
Mahmoud, how are you? Before we get into these scores here, Steve, and I saw that you retweeted this, that and so it begins. So SMS supposedly has a falling out, looks to be maybe sold in January. So I know this is your time of year, your favorite time of year, but you think he's going anywhere?
I would seriously doubt that he would be going anywhere in January, just because there's not enough time to deal with the psychopath of Lotito, and they have to make a decision on Luis Alberto as well. So I understand that Sadi's contract's been extended, so he's there for an extra year. Lazio needs to make a decision. What's their identity? It's enough with this Ciro Immobile. I get it. He scores goals, but if you don't surround this guy with players that could help him win or stay out of the 7-5-4 realm, Lotito needs to decide what he wants to do with the Lazio.
Looking at this one, Steve, I'm looking at the Sampdoria. Obviously, I didn't watch this game, but is Ferrero still in jail?
Yes, he is. I don't think he's out.
Sampdoria Venezia 1-1. Not sure if you caught any of this one here.
This one here, the only one that I was able to watch was the Fiorentina Sassuolo.
Caught a couple of
that was a nice one. Caught a good game. Two entertaining teams. Sassuolo burned the 2-0 lead. Helped my Fantacalcio, which it's 2 games in a row I win. Just
You're
to
doing
let
good,
everybody know.
Steve.
Yeah, last week I thought I lost, but I checked Monday morning and I won. And I won again this week. And so Sassuolo, again, Jekyll and Hyde against us. They pull a masterclass. And against Fiorentina, they blow a 2-goal lead.
And Fiorentina had a red card, no? If I'm not mistaken. No, yeah. Fiorentina had a red card. I don't know that they came back yet. Spezia Empoli, and looking at Empoli has become, and I saw in the comments, Empoli is a must-win. There's no,
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
1-1 on that one there, and Torino beating Verona.
Pobega scores.
Yeah, so Gio loves him, and I know he's got his questions there on Patreon. Before we get into Pobega, Steve, and questions, 40 million. I saw a post there. Supposedly Milan values Pobega at 40 million euros.
Everybody else does it
at this point, right? Might as well.
Young Italian scoring goals. Hey, why not? Everybody else does it. Sturado went for 18 million. So if Sturado goes for 18 million, Pobega, I have no problem with them setting a mark at 40 million, especially if Torino wants him. If Torino wants him, it's not 40, it's 440.
Yeah, because in Italy everything goes up, but then when we sell All'Estero, you sell to Juventus, the prices drop. Thank you, Faz Biragi. Got a red on Fiorentina. So looking at the standings, Steve. Inter, obviously, Napoli, Milan tied at 39. Atalanta losing, so staying at 38. Roma, Fiorentina, Juve. They're at 31, and not far behind. You have Lazio, and look at Empoli, guys. Empoli's got 27 points, which is pretty impressive. And those bottom three, Steve. I think we discussed this last week. Unless some magic happens, those bottom three are not changing.
Yeah, I don't think the bottom three are changing. It's important, guys, that you know and you continue to understand the podcast. We're very hard on Milan, but guys, I was on the spaces with Nima and a whole bunch of other people, and one guy came on and he's like, "Congratulations, Inter, for another Scudetto." I think it was a Juventus. And he's like, "Congratulations for a Juventus." I said, so I put up my hand. It's like, whoa, whoa,
Relax.
whoa, 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 whoa. Like I don't understand. Like it's 4 points, and Inter has a grueling January.
And
Grueling.
Steve, I believe the exact numbers were when we were ahead. I think 4 games ago, we were 6 points ahead of them. Like anything can change. People like for 4 points, and it's not the Juve from 5-6 years ago that if they took 4 points and nobody was good enough to get close to that. But why are everybody saying Inter already won the championship?
Right now, they're the most informed team. I will give them that. But the Scudetto is far from over. And this is the beauty of this year's Scudetto, where things can change.
Look at those points.
Napoli and Milan were if I'm not mistaken, 7 points, anywhere between 7 and 10 points ahead of Inter a couple of months ago. And now Inter sits 4 points behind them. You put together a string of victories in a row, a la Atalanta, a la Inter, you climb up there.
Yeah.
And you see Roma coming back, you see Fiorentina, you see Juventus, even Juventus at 31. Juventus at 31 at 12 points behind, it's a bit hard. But can they get up to the guy was ready to like stop watching Calcio for the rest of the year.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, come on, man. Like, haven't you been watching this? Like,
what did we do for the last 10 years as Milan fans?
No,
we
exactly.
Stopped watching after week 2.
You hope things change. And we all know that Inter, look, I'm convinced, I always say this, Inter, for some reason, in January, they forget how to play soccer. And there's also the fact that the real hair-raising question here is, has Simone Inzaghi brought that Lazio downer? Because if they go on a downer, you make up the 4 points.
And if to Interistas, that even though he's been playing very good, get ready for that Hakan dip, because Hakan's not going to do this all year round. We shall see what happens from there. But yes, I love, Steve, like you were saying, look how many points are at the top 4 spots. And it's a competitive, it's a long season. This was This was week 18. This is, we got one more game of 19. We still have 19 games to go, guys. So no fret, but we are here to criticize. We are here to nitpick our team, and always, like Liban was saying, always Forza Milan. Stevie P taking it over to Patreon, to Gio saying, keep up the great work, guys. Just disappointed with another terrible performance. January is about to open for me. It's time to move on from Kessie. Has only 2 great games all season, and his head doesn't look to be a Milan. What are your thoughts? P.S. Bring back my guy Pobega. I know we've touched base on this one here, Steve, but unless somebody comes and give you good money, I'm not getting rid of Kessie. If I'm gonna take my chances, that we already did it with a world-class guy like Donnarumma, well, you know what? Give me Kessie until the end of the season, because I believe he's got more than 2 good games. He's not as good as last season by a far stretch of the imagination, but you get one of those injuries. Where are you gonna go? You're gonna start Bakayoko for 10 games in a row?
No, and that's the problem. And we talked about that too yesterday with the guys, Adriano on talking about that too. At the beginning of the season, very well criticized my comment on Daniele Maldini should have went on loan, and we should have probably kept Pobega. Why? Why did I say that? Because I'm not saying that I'm some Nostradamus here, is that Pobega is someone who was loaned out last year,
That's Serie A
played,
experience. Yeah.
got some experience. Now he needs to come back to home, and his home is Milan, and learn alla Tonali. Where last year we even said it too. Why is he not playing? Why is he? Why are we favoring other players other than alla Krunic than Tonali? Because he was learning the way of Milan. And I think that's important for someone like Pobega as well, because you brought in La Minestra Riscaldata, which is Bakayokoko, who has not performed, but did not want to take a chance on someone like Pobega. That's where, and he sits as the fourth midfielder, and I get it, but you saw injury, you saw COVID, you saw, hey, he would have found some places to play, and I wouldn't mind that midfield contribution. The goals that he has for Torino, him possibly scoring some of them for Milan, would have helped us, because as much as he's growing and he's playing at Torino, no offense to Torino fans, he's always at Torino.
Yeah.
Torino has just the same problem as Lazio. They're stuck with an owner who's too cheap to invest, doesn't want to spend money, doesn't want to sell when he's supposed to sell, and crippling the team in terms of their development. They have a great coach this year, but is he growing the way that Milan wants him to grow and Milan can evaluate him? I don't think so.
To Danny Cardozo, I know you're saying, I don't know if you're trolling, I don't know if you're saying, like, you guys are not watching Inter, it'd be childish that he's fuori classe. Let me ask you this, Danny. Did you watch Hakan Çalhanoğlu the way we fucking watched him for 5 years? Right? So don't tell us that we don't watch Hakan, because we watch Hakan. We like to take jabs at Inter, obviously. Yeah, he's been playing fantastic for the last 2 months, but we've seen that. Why don't you go watch Hakan? When Ibra came on, he played fantastic for 2 fucking months, and then he was taking those fucking corners a la Honda. So please don't insult us that we don't fucking watch Inter and Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Okay? No 40 class. Per favor, no fucking 40 class, please. Anyways, yeah, so we do watch him. Stevie P, what else do we got over here? Nathan saying, just wanted to give a shout out on the WhatsApp group. Nathan joined the WhatsApp group, Stevie P. If you're on Patreon and you're not in the group, you owe it to yourself. So join, especially if you're a newer member fan like me. You'll learn a ton in a very short time. Thank you, Nathan. Just a comment, no questions. Vincenzo Mancini saying, buona giornata, signori. Love seeing you guys on Milan's official Twitch channel this past week. Also, amazing work from Milan Club Montreal for all you do supporting the needy during the holidays. My question, what are your thoughts on a potential move for Deulofeu this January? Primary left winger, but can play on the right and in the center. With the lack of depth up front, Diaz playing like merda and his overall familiarity with Italian calcio. Stevie is probably going to say minestrone riscaldato, but would still love to pick your brains. Deulofeu, Steve?
No.
No, because it's doesn't make any sense, right? We try to go back to these old players. We try to go back to, yes, he plays well at Udinese, but what says he's going to play well on this one here? So would you even take him on the cheap?
No, I want them to address the positions that they need to address with players that are going to be here for a while. I don't know how long Deulofeu was going to be here for, and if they really wanted to keep him, they were going to keep him.
Exactly. So I'm with you on that one there. Paulie H, good evening, Vinny and Steve. It's been a tough few weeks with so many obvious negatives. We are going to refocus and get our mojo back. So what can you guys see as positives going into 2020? P.S. This might be a short list. Forza Milan through good times and the bad. What would you see as a positive, Steve?
For Milan?
Players coming back?
In the new year, they need to get healthy, and they need to have some sort of statement from upper management telling the fans the direction that they want to go.
And if they are going to invest some money, they investing 50, 60 million.
I'm
that's
not
for sure.
I'm not saying here on December 20th that Milan in the January transfer window are going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. No.
No.
But Can we address at least the positions where we know that are weak? We have someone in the chat. Oh, it's Danny again. Danny Carlo Musto or Salini. Interesting. Interesting. For some reason, he's out of favor at Bologna. I don't see it doesn't come out very often. But it's an interesting cartellino. We have to see that. But how much are you willing to pay for someone like Orsolini, and how much do Bologna want? Is all questions that we will never be able to answer here. But we have a problem. That problem for the longest time has been right wing, and I think if they get healthy, and we're seeing here. Any updates? Calabria, Rebic, Leao. These are three guys who start for Milan
January, they're saying some like Leao. They was
in the new
saying that
year.
maybe Roma for the first game of no second game of the new year, maybe that one there. But I just hope, like you're saying, Steve, it doesn't get we don't get the our new signings or all these players coming back because we're gonna go into this vicious
Yeah,
cycle.
no, but it's going to be the wrong message to the Milan fans. The majority, there's that percentage who understand, and I kind of put myself in that percentage too, where yes, they need to be self-sustainable. They need to look at the books. They want to bring the club out of the red into the black. But there's the other good percentage, which I'm also part of that percentage, believe it or not, where I want to win. I want to win. And this year is important. You have Inter going for Scudetto number 20. They will have 2 stars on their jersey before Milan.
And you don't
That
want that.
pisses me off.
Yeah, definitely.
We
Yeah.
have Inter going to win. If they win again, that's going to be 2 Scudettos in a row. That pisses me off. And it's not getting into, it's Inter. It would have been the same. It's been the same thing when Juve won 9 years in a row. It pissed me the fuck off because I'm not
Fucking
happy
nightmare.
with fourth place. I've said it a lot of times. It's a goal. Depending on how the season goes, it becomes a milestone. It becomes something that you want to make sure you hit. But in the end, those guys there didn't come to Milan to play it for fourth place.
And that's true. And I think the positive, Steve, will be, well, hopefully that the signing of, would it be the replacement for Kier or a striker, is not a band-aid solution, not a like an act, not a substitute, but an actual replacement. So let's see what comes up in the month of January. And I'm sure, Steve, you're gonna be glued. You're gonna be glued to that to that TV and all those news. So we'll see. Fabio saying, "Buonasera ragazzi. First, let me phenomenal work by you guys for the Toin food drive. It was the only part of Sunday that made me smile. Our Milan has overachieved another year. While I'm happy to be top 4, it shows how we need upgrades this past summer, but we were offered a new meal on the same plate with a side salad maker who was to make us forget how we didn't get a quality right wing. My point of frustration this week is with Brahim. He wears the 10. I know it weighs heavy because I remember Rui Costa and Seedorf, but in the last 10 years, we have gotten Honda, Hakan, and now Diaz. I know the COVID fog is a thing for professional athletes, but do we think we're just seeing why he has been low knees and never a prize that Madrid didn't want to give up? We need a playmaker, and he disappears and comes up short, no pun intended, all the time. For God's sake, if he's beaten out by Salad or Messias, he should be ashamed of himself. Have you seen enough in a season and a half to say we should have done with Diaz after 2022? All the best and buon Natal." I don't.
It's a gamble.
Have we seen enough?
We are
Steve?
test driving Diaz for Real Madrid. That's all we're doing. And we're going to give him the report, and we're going to tell him, hey, Diaz is worth this. Diaz is worth this. Now, beginning of the year, he started off great.
Yep.
Forgot about everybody. Now, he didn't get an injury, a muscle injury, a pull, a tear, or whatever. He got COVID. And it seems like it either affected him in a way that we can't explain, because we have not seen the same Diaz ever since he got out with when he missed the games for COVID.
How many games did he actually start, Steve? Let's say, would you say a run of 4 or 5 bad starts? Yeah, at least, right?
At
Yeah,
least
because he didn't start
he's
every
not
single one of them. Yeah.
he has not been the shadow of himself ever since he's come back, and that's a bit concerning because we need him to generate.
And Raul saying, "Hi, Vinny and Steve, keep it up. Wish Milan players could listen to Steve's criticism." So yes, Raul, thank you. We do have people making these videos of Steve, and maybe we're gonna get directly to Masada. He was on the Milan Twitch channel, so we'll see what comes from there. Aubameyang, Steve. Regardless, 16 is asking if Arsenal pays 80% of his salary. I
Yeah,
will take.
but the thing is that is he's an interesting. People are gonna say Minestra Riscaldata. He left for different reasons than our other Minestra Riscaldata because he left just because he couldn't find space on a really really good Milan.
Hmm.
So for me, it would be a gamble. It would be maybe something that the player needs because there's something obviously not going right at Arsenal. He either is engulfed with the amount of money that they pay him and is not interested in soccer anymore, which would seriously uh, change my opinion to know I would want to stay away from him. But I think like that whole Cinderella story where he comes back to where he started and have a killer second half of the season would be something interesting. And he's that type of striker that's different from what we usually have right now
Hmm.
with Ibra and Giroud. He's the pacey striker. He's the striker where you're not lobbing balls inside the box. You're giving him balls in the complete stride of his speed. So if Maldini has one of the same conversations like he had with Theo Hernandez with Aubameyang and comes for the right reasons, and now Aubameyang at Milan, whether he likes it or not, is not the top dog. The top dog is Ibra.
Says he posted today pic of San Siro and message "See you soon."
Well, I don't know what that
Maybe
means. I
just
saw that
trolling.
too.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
You know,
But
you know what Maldini needs to do, Steve? He needs to call Galliani. And do you remember when we brought Balotelli from Man City? Remember that whole thing that they wanted like 40, "Man, I'm giving you 20." And they were like, from 40 down to 35. "Man, I'm giving you And in the end, what do we get him for? Like 4 payments of 5 million. He's
no,
gotta
yeah,
he's
I
gotta go
know that.
learn. He's gotta go learn from the Condor. He used to make these deals that just didn't make any sense. So those are questions from Patreon. Patreon members, just make sure to take a look at your notifications. I'm probably gonna get on with you guys for the last one of the year. We'll get on Wednesday. Wednesday after the game, I'll let you guys know. Nothing on Twitter, Steve. Brioshki, we did say, or excuse me, our indigestion of the week about Salernitana. Did you have any other ones? I know Pioli got to you.
Yeah,
The
so
Montella effect.
Pioli really irritated me. We talked about that at the beginning of the podcast. This whole Serie A thing again, I can't believe it. We're finishing the year 2021 and we're still talking about a league that can't get their shit together. But that's all the brioshkis I could have for the
The
entire
indigestion.
end of this year. So
Yeah, and
indigestion. Yeah, sorry.
for me, my brioche, my feel good moment. It's not soccer related, but it's got to go to Ralib and Bizak. Not only did they show up at the Twin Food Drive, Bizak went to buy some diapers, some toys, some quelque chose. Ralib's like, I got twins now, so I'm giving you double the toys from over there, and then we're able to go watch together. Just a great feeling in our community, and like that we Milan Club, not only Milan Weekly Podcast, the Milan Club Montreal as well. And Steve Bizak says that il veut parler plus anglais. So next time we see him, he wants to
Yeah,
learn a bit
I'm gonna
more.
talk to him in English. No problem.
So anything else in closing, Steve? Probably not next Monday. Maybe we'll do something like a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas very quickly to let you guys off on because the next game is what, January. I'll be fine. I know January 6th.
Yeah, that weekend. I think it's the 8th or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's 6, and then there's a midweek game from over there. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to say?
No, I want to say
Feels.
thank you to everybody with another fantastic year to Milan Weekly Podcast. We did some great things. Thank you to Presidente. Thank you to Sunny. Thank you to you
Yeah.
for enduring my disgustingness sometimes where I get very carried away. But thank you to everybody who tunes in live, whoever watches the show, shares the show, talks about the show. This is why we do it. We do it because we love Milan and we want to create content and get it and be as honest as possible. So thank you.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, and Steve, yesterday, Adriano Pezzi di Pane, when Presidente walked into Chacharo's, there was a bit of a stare down. Future Presidente, current Presidente. They looked at each other, they nodded, they understood each other. So Adriano, we got your back. We got your back. But yes, definitely thank you to every single one of you that contribute, listening, whether it be on YouTube, you're downloading the podcast for all these different platforms, the Patreon members. It's so humbling to see these people from the four corners of the world. Definitely thank you from all that. And yes, here in Montreal, we're going back into like a kind of a lockdown. Milan Club Dublin, a part of their WhatsApp group, and it looks like they're doing the exact same thing. And let me just see who decided to give us last minute Patreon question. No, that's it. So we're good from over there. So, gentlemen, ladies, thank you so very much. And maybe for the last time this year, but we're gonna check in ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao, guys.